The cooperation between the Asian Development Bank and Azerbaijan began in 1999. Since then, the bank has allocated more than $4 billion in loans, guarantees, grants, and technical assistance to the country for implementation of more than 30 projects in the public and private sector. Today, ADB Vice President Wencai Zhang will talk about ADB-Azerbaijan cooperation in the course of these years and prospects for future cooperation. Okay, Mr. Zhang,
Yes.
First of all, thank you very much for receiving our invitation to participate in our program.
Yeah.
So what is the aim of your visit to the country this time, and what have been discussed with the officials in the country?
So the main purpose of my visit is to meet with the leaders and the senior officials of the Azerbaijan to discuss about our next 5 years country partnership strategy. And that strategy will start from the 2019 until 2023. So we are going to finish the current 5 years program. So that's the main purpose for me to have official consultation with the authority here. Another one is to visit our project, Nakhchivan and Autonomous Republic. I visited one of the project, ADB Finance, for the water supply and sanitation. So I was so impressed by the quality of our project and the impact the project has produced. So those are two things, talk to the new strategy with the government and also visit our ongoing project.
So you were in the country 2 years ago, and what has changed during this time?
I think you know that last 2 years or 2 or 3 years, I should say, particularly after this global financial crisis, and we see that the country were last 2 years was a very difficult situation. The growth, as I remember back to 2016, our growth was negative. 2017 also very low. Right, this year the growth came back. Based on ADB's projection, it's about GDP growth this year is about 1.7%. Next year maybe 2%. So we see the economy is recovering. And I hope that the economy can continue to grow further, even to the higher level. So but I think we see a lot of efforts made by the government to stabilize the macroeconomic situation, and a lot of efforts are already made to initiate structural reforms. And last few years, the government launched this national strategic roadmap for the national economy and the key sectors. So that I see that the country is really now, in terms of economic stability and economic growth, and the economy is now is coming back. And I think as I said, I hope that the momentum can be continued in the coming years.
So what do you think about country partnership strategy for Azerbaijan for 2014 to 2018? Is it possible to say that the results exceeded expectations?
Yeah, I think basically I should say that of course we are still internally doing the evaluation about our last 5 years country program, but where we began to prepare a new 5-year country program. So I think based on our current assessment, we are happy with our performance, our country program implementation. In general, I think we have been very successful in implementing all many important projects. So I think particularly I can see that last few years ADB has been with the government, with the people of Azerbaijan, to deal with all the challenges. And so I can give you several projects we support, like project we support, like the counter-cyclical facility. ADB provide $500 million, to help government, right, to maintain, to the macroeconomic financial stability. And also we provide some of the other projects to support structural reform, like a reform program for for the improving governance and the public sector efficiency. And we did that last year, and we are going to do even another one next year, right? So, and also we support the railway sector with investment and also railway sector reform. And also we support the one important project, that is about this Shannon-Nice 2 project. The project will use the southern gas corridor, right, to export your gas to Europe. So I think we have done, of course, other projects like, urban, sectors, also, the transport sectors. So, so I think, that we have a, very good program. I mentioned that, water supply, sanitation, Nativa and, Republic. I saw that, the people, more than, I think, 175,000 people, local residents will benefit from this. Clean water, safe water. I tasted water here. Quality is good. It's just like a spring water. Come on. It's just so I think ADB provide almost $200 million. Last, I think, since 2006 for this, for this water supply sanitation, for the Republic. So I was so impressed by the quality of our project, by the timely implementation of our project for this. So I think our program really has been very successful.
So could you give some insight into the new country strategy program for 2019 to 2023?
I think a new strategy certainly will address the new needs, the changing needs, and the new challenges the country face. Azerbaijan now, with many years of development and growth, now country has become upper middle income country. So it's not like a low income country. So now upper middle income country, as certainly you face a new challenges, right? So how do the country diversify economy, right? How to have more private sector led kind of growth, and how really further improve your public sector, SOE sector, right? How can you improve your human capital? How can you further improve your key infrastructure in a country, right? So I think how can you further strengthen your regional integration and cooperation with the neighboring economy? How you benefit your strategic geographical location here as a regional hub? So I think it's many things to do there. So I think we needed to think how we support this. So in the coming 5 years, we will support three main areas. The first one is to support this acceleration, sustainability, and diversification of the economy. Mm-hmm. Secondly, we'll support your improvement of your public sector efficiency, and private sector development. Third one, we will further support your development of your infrastructure and human capital. So those are three main areas. Of course, I can imagine in the coming years, we will, not only support, selectively support some of the infrastructure, project, but also we will focus more on private sector project, more PPP project, right? More private sector, project like SME financing, and we will also try to support I think we should support your local capital market development. And, we can issue local currency bond to mobilize, local financial resources to support, this small business, MSE, small, medium enterprises here in the country. So, and also we need to support more maybe human capital development, like vocational, and education, technical training, particularly for the young people. Those are so important, right? So I think, of course, we also need to continue to support some of the key, maybe infrastructure sector, like a railway sector. We already support this North-South railway corridor, and it's an ongoing project. It's very good. We support the investment program, but also we support the railway sector reform. This is a very challenging, sector. But we are, agree with the government to support this sector. And also we also need to continue to support the power sector in renewable energy development, and also maybe the distribution, this sector. We had a program already 2 years ago. Now we can see that the country benefit from that investment for improvement of this distribution, system improvement. So I think we should continue to support that. So we can reduce the losses from the system. We can try to improve, to get more revenue from the system, and to try to even reduce the consumption of the gas. So so I try to improve our energy efficiency. So I think there are many things we can also. I talked to the leaders and the minister about maybe ADB can also do something for the irrigation system. Like how can we make sure the water there to support agriculture development. So again, this is something the rural infrastructure, right? Urban also, like urban solid waste management, water sanitation, but solid waste management. How can we support more integrated urban development? So these are all related, maybe the business environment, and the competitiveness of economy in the future, because, very strong, good sound infrastructure, right, will be so important for you to get more private sector, right, investment, to get even more FDI, foreign direct investment. And also, we need to support countries more effort to integrate, right, for the integration with the neighboring economy, right, join this regional and international, cooperation. So, so I think we have many things to do. This, try to help the country to build this physical connectivities through the road, railway system, and also, also some, trade facilitation, trade policy dialogue with other countries. So that then, you will benefit more, logistic, right, kind of trade, and also more, from the, more from the regional hub. So I think, that, so I think many things we can do, that in the coming years, so in the next 5 years.
Mm-hmm. So as you have talked about the development of the non-oil sector and support to the non-oil sector in the country, so how do you find the diversification policy of the country?
Yeah, non-oil gas sector, I think non-oil gas sector, we really need, so ADB is now doing the country, diagnostic study. So we're trying to see, based on also countries, also, strategic roadmap, right, on the key sector. So we'll see, what are the potential sector, Azerbaijan should try to develop, right? What are your competitive advantage? What are your sector with less competitive advantage, right? So let's see how we can, help you, right? From the hardware side, software side. So I think, even from the knowledge side, we all need to, think, how we can help you to develop your non-oil and the gas sector. So I think, this is a big issue for us in the next 5 years. But of course, I know that, except for oil gas, you also have been very good, like, many other sectors, like, I think like tourism sectors, agro-processing, you have a very rich, right, agricultural product. I can imagine, right? So if you can develop high-value agriculture product, that could be also very competitive. Maybe also sectors related to maybe oil gas, like petrochemical, other maybe, right, sectors, and other manufacturing sectors. I think, that maybe, country can develop, in the coming years. I think one of the important, experience we learn from other, countries is that, really the country needed to get more, foreign direct investment. Of course, you can try to build up your own entrepreneurs, entrepreneurship, try to develop your own, industries, right? But at the same time, how can you try to use more FDI, foreign direct investment? And I know that here in Baku, we also try to develop a free trade zone. So I talked to leaders that maybe in the future, ADB can also provide some support, right? And see how we can try to help you improve your infrastructure, your business environment, so that you can get more, foreign direct investment. So they can bring in technology, maybe, advanced managerial experience, market channel, that. So I think that, so with that can nurture our maybe national, right, industries maybe. So I feel that there's many ways to do this. So certainly ADB will try to, to provide our support to the government on this.
So, Mr. Zhang, my last question is that there is an information that the Asian Development Bank has developed a business plan in accordance with which it plans to present a loan in the amount of $800 million to Azerbaijan in the period from 2019 to 2021. For which projects in which areas will the funds be allocated?
Yeah, as I mentioned, just now, I think ADB will continue to support, right, the public sector reform, efficiency improvement. So certainly we had, policy-based loan for the public sector, efficiency improvement, public expenditure management, debt management, capital market development. So I think, next, few years, we'll continue to support this public sector, efficiency improvement, governance improvement. I think, that's something we feel very important for the country's, structural reform. And also, we will also support, that, and other, sector reform, ongoing reform like railway sectors. We had a loan, for the railway sector. This is an ongoing one. I think, in the next few we'll continue to support with our ongoing loan to support railway sectors, right, reform. And also we are working with the government and see how we can support energy sector also, like this distribution, that improvements, power distribution system improvement, right? So we had two and a half years ago we had the one back to 2016. We had a tranche one for the $250 million, right? For that, we see that last more than 2 years, we really see the benefit from this system improvement. And so I think we should try to promote more support to improve the energy efficiency through this power distribution system improvement. And of course we can also explore other projects, like again maybe like the transport corridor, like a railway sector I mentioned. Maybe of course we are working on this north-south corridor, the railway. But if government asks us to do other part of this railway corridor, so we are also be happy to support, right? And also we can think about maybe like that project like with some innovation, and high technology transfer. So we are going to to prepare some project, some project preparation, readiness, facility to support those innovative projects and the project with technology transfer. And also, I said again, we will try to promote more private sector, investment through a PPP modality, right? And we can, provide policy advice, transaction advice, and also we can help improve the legal regulatory framework for PPP, project. And also, we can support PPP center here in the country. I know that government set up SME development, agency
Small
already.
And medium.
So, so I think maybe we should work with these agencies, right? Try to support more SME financing, particularly with our local bond maybe issue, So I mentioned, right? So, so private sector investment, private sector project is something, is certainly I see, government is, really want us to do more, and on this. And I think that's something we really need to do more. Of course, we also are open to other ideas. I mentioned about irrigation, rural irrigation, urban, solid waste management, and others. So we have many projects we can do with the government. But of course, I said we certainly understand the government strategy, debt management strategy, right? You try to reduce the debt over GDP, so ratio. So we will work with government and see how we can support them. And to help them to manage their debt and, to achieve the debt sustainability, but at the same time, selectively, select some project, right, to support their reform and development.
So, Mr. Zhang, thank you very much for your comprehensive information about ADB-Azerbaijan cooperation and the future plans. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.